using turnaround methods in investment banking and other issues. Thanks, Kobus.
Thank you very much, Tom. Hi, everyone. I just want to talk today about disruption in general. We heard from the Turnaround Management Association. We are all in restructuring. A lot of what we do is disruptive, but if we think about the disruptors around the world, we think more about people like Steve Jobs and maybe Elon Musk, along others. People who have disrupted many different industries. Music, PayPal, money, space, electric cars. So when I was quite fortunate in my career, we've done a few disruptions, if you want to call it that, ourselves. We have taken one of our clients, helped them to quadruple their sales in 1 year. We have helped some of our clients have their line of credit within a year from a distressed situation. We have helped one of our clients that were listed on the NASDAQ to get cash positive for the first time since their listing and get sold to win the Turnaround of the Year award. So these you could see as disruptions. But what's behind the disruption? What's behind it? If Elon Musk or Steve Jobs can do it to so many different industries, there seems to be a pattern behind it. And I was fortunate to have been forced into the Navy when I was young after my studies. In South Africa, we didn't have a choice. And while I was in the Navy in the training, they made me do things that I would swear was humanly impossible. If you asked me to do certain of the things that I did, I would say that cannot be done. It's not possible. I will die. And the one exercise they asked us to do, I would swear that I can only do that exercise 400 meters long. And they made me do it for 20 kilometers. So that taught me a very important principle, is that I am not the best judge of what I'm capable of. And that goes for each one of us. How many people here have people reporting to them? A lot of us are managers and are managing other people. So Steve Jobs was saying, my job is not to be nice to people, my job is to make them better. And a statement like that, you can take multiple ways, but clearly he wanted to push these people outside of their comfort zone, like the Navy did to me, to make them better. And we can all learn from that. The other principle that I found in my career quite early was the whole concept of standing on the shoulders of giants. So Isaac Newton said in the 1700s already, if I have seen further, it is because I've stood on the shoulders of giants. So who's a giant? Warren Buffett can be a giant. Jack Welch can be a giant. You can pick your own giant. But we don't have to figure out everything for ourselves from scratch. We can stand on the shoulders of giants and learn from them to get a disruptive improvement much faster than us trying 10 times ourselves. One of the giants I came across early in my career was a person you probably haven't heard about, Carlos Castaneda. Carlos Castaneda wrote a book in the 60s that was really interesting. He talked to a shaman in Mexico, and the shaman was telling him that there are 4 natural enemies for a person of knowledge. Because if we are going to stand on the shoulders of giants, that means we're going to learn from someone who came before us. And there are 4 natural enemies for you becoming a man of knowledge or a person of knowledge. So Carlos was saying, once we start learning, our intent is vague. We're not clear on exactly what we want to get out of it. Say we want to enter the restructuring world or the legal world. And soon you meet your first natural enemy, which is fear. And fear stops most people in their tracks. People will stop learning because they see it's so much out there, I can never master it all. I'm going to just take a few steps back. And Kobus Van Der Zel says the way that you defeat fear is you continue going. You have to defy it. You have to recognize it and walk right through it. And if you do that for long enough, you will start seeing a clarity. You will get a clarity of mind. Things will start making sense to you. And you will think that now you can connect the things that you are struggling with before. And that's when you've met your second natural enemy, clarity of mind. That first clarity of mind that you get from learning and studying at a rigorous pace, that is false. And if we can tell ourselves for long enough that clarity, this clarity that I'm seeing, I've studied so hard in restructuring or in law or in my field, I'm now there. If you can tell yourself it's false, push it away. The people around you will see that you have mastered your second force, and they will put you in a position of power. And then you have reached your third natural enemy, which is power. And to understand clarity a little bit more is often we do projects, but we also do a lot of smaller tasks. 2 weeks ago, you may have seen the invite. We had WiseTech Global, who is a company who have achieved a viable vision the last 3 years in a row. A viable vision is to take your sales and move it to your net profit in 4 years. It's a very ambitious target. It's a very high growth profitability target. They've achieved that for the last 3 years. And the Chief Productivity Officer was talking to us, and he was showing us how a group of software engineers is using fear and clarity of mind in how they distribute their tasks. They have buffer boards, the tasks get assigned, but to do a project successfully, you have to start it later, not start it sooner. And the mechanisms that they have in place was fascinating to see how much they have taken continuous improvement techniques from the auto industry and from other industries and brought it into office environments. And they have a lot of black belts. They have their own black belt system. So when you think of clarity of mind, think of how much further can you take learning in your organization. Next week, nothing holding us back from doing it. But it always stuck with me. So then when you reach your third enemy, your fear or power, once you reach that, a lot of people will say, now I've arrived. I have the power, I can yield it. And the way that you defeat your natural enemy of power is the same as you defeated fear. You have to walk through it, but you have to give it back to the people who gave it to you. Tom is really good at it. When people give him, he will always look after the interests of his network first. And because of that, he's not abusing his power. We can do a lot in the same way by giving our power back to the people who gave it to us. Even if there are people below you, those people give you respect and they give you the power. The way to give it back is like Steve Jobs. You don't have to be overly nice to them all the time to do all the things that are popular. You have to balance it with the things that are disciplined too. You have to turn them into black belts in your organizations. Turn your people into black belts. Be a mentor to them. Tell them, here's a book that I think you should read. And if you not only read it, we're going to go out for lunch in a couple of weeks, and then we're going to discuss that book, and then the next book. And be a mentor to the people. That way, you will defeat the third enemy, which is power. And then the fourth enemy, if you can do that for long enough, Kobus Van Der Zel says it's old age. So old age is a very severe enemy. And the way to defeat that is to not give in to it. You have to continue learning, even when you think you have done your life's work. And if you continue learning, and if you continue mentoring, and if you continue building black belts, and if you continue giving in your industry, Kobus Van Der Zel says that there's a point where people will point to you and say, now that is a person who is in command of all four natural enemies of knowledge. And that is a life worth living. So we want to, it's an interesting story, and I always remember that we try to use those type of principles as we work with our network. And we want to continue doing disruptive deals together with our network. So if you have a deal that's not quite in your, down the middle, if it's a deal that you're not sure if you should take, bring that deal to us and let's do it together and see how disruptive result can we get out of that deal, and we share that success. So this is a very exciting journey for me, and thank you very much.
One book to my honor is Kobus's book, The Forces of Progress, which I can recommend. Thank you. It was inspiring.